This is the M2 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro that I've been using for the past half a year, and I'm sitting here gathering thoughts about this MacBook, and there's one thought that comes back to my head. This may be the most boring MacBook refresh Apple has ever done. When I was watching the presentation, the keynote, the event, I was already skeptical. I got that uneasy feeling inside, you know? It seemed like a pointless refresh even back in June, but I still bought it. The unboxing went as usual, very pleasant experience. But as soon as I picked in the box, I knew something ain't right. This MacBook shouldn't exist, at least not in this form. Well, not in the form of a MacBook, but in this exact body. Yes, it does look hella nice. Flat sides with rounded edges, cold anodized aluminum, sternness and stiffness in every detail. We've already seen all that. On the 2021 MacBook Pro, on MacBook Air, even on iPads, I know that Apple wasn't gonna change the design, but I hoped that at least something will be changed. But no, they did nothing. All changes are purely internal. Don't get me wrong, this design ain't bad. There's nothing about this Mac that bugs me or annoys me in the slightest. I love using it just like I used to like using the 2021 MacBook Pro. I just feel somewhat bored already because buying this Mac should have felt like getting a brand new toy. But I basically got the same laptop, at least from the outside. And by the way, Luke Miani took a new MacBook Pro and transferred the motherboard to the old one, and it booted straight away. So interchangeable, you know. And even the screen remained the same. If you are new to MacBooks, here is a quick rundown of the display situation. It's a 14.2-inch mini LED panel with True Tone, ProMotion, local dimming, best stuff Apple can offer. What's all that mumbo jumbo? Well, mini LED means there are thousands of individual lights under the display that act as a backlight. On IPS displays, for example, the whole display lights up, which makes blacks gray and washed out. With mini LED, the display lights up only where needed, so we get very deep blacks, superb color accuracy, response time, and zero burnout issues that OLED displays get. The display refreshes at 120 Hz, which makes all animations super smooth, and this feature works just as well as it did in the 2021 MacBook Pro. As for the True Tone P3 color, don't think about that. It's a great display, fit for any workflow. It goes up to 1600 nits of HDR brightness and up to 1000 nits of sustained brightness, so working under direct sunlight is not an issue. I love this display, I really do, but I feel like Apple could have at least done something to make it better. Maybe a purely software feature, but nothing. Apple is being greedy here, and everyone knows that. At least they're pretty generous when it comes to chargers. Yes, we still get a charging brick with this MacBook. Thanks for that, Apple. Also, speakers on Pro MacBooks have been an industry standard for a few years now, but this year it feels like a step back. Of course, I'm saying this because I know full well how the 2021 model sounds like, but let's say I have never used MacBook Pros, then in this case, the sound this MacBook makes will be just fine. It's reasonably loud, pretty detailed, and overall produces a nice sound. Yet to me, it sounds a bit less bassy. There's too much rumbliness in the sound, it feels somewhat heavy. It's not a big deal if I don't pay attention, but if I listen to certain songs or watch certain movies, this becomes super clear. But again, it's a good speaker system. Now let's take a quick break and talk about this video sponsor, Wondershare. Wondershare eDraw Max is Visio on steroids. It takes all the best features and takes them to the max. Take templates, for example. eDraw Max gives all users over 2,000 professionally crafted templates that suits everyone's needs. Businesses, students and teachers, engineers, developers, and even fashion designers. The templates are super versatile and easily modifiable. Also, eDraw Max has 3 times more diagrams than Visio. But that's still not the best part. eDraw Max recently got a huge boost with AI. Built-in AI can create mind maps, flowcharts, do diagrams in one click, and so much more. Beautifying your diagrams, easy. Extracting text, done. Come on, it even lets you chat with your diagrams. Folks at Microsoft can't even imagine these features, and transitioning from Visio to eDraw Max is super easy since it is fully compatible with Visio files. Just import all your files and you're good to go, and if needed, you can export them back into Visio. It also works on macOS and Windows, has a Linux and web version, super accessible, so be sure to check it out. I will will leave a link in the description for you. Before I move on to performance, I want to say a few words about the connectivity because this area has seen quite a few improvements compared to the older Pros. These improvements aren't huge, but still. Besides the Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 for faster wireless connectivity, it comes with HDMI 2.1 port to support 8K displays up to 60Hz and 4K displays up to 240Hz. It also features 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports for high-speed connections, an SD card reader, a 3.5mm audio jack, and MagSafe 3 charging port. In half a year, I didn't really notice all that many changes. I rarely use an external monitors or high-impedance headphones. The only change I did really feel was the updated Bluetooth. AirPods Pro 2 will connect a little faster now, but once again, that's the only change that impacted my life. And yeah, this keyboard is still questionable. And I'm not talking about the typing experience. It feels really nice to type on. All the keys have enough travel and all that stuff, but I'm talking about the plastic used. It's super soft and gets shiny really fast. After a few months of typing, the keyboard will look like this, and after a year, like this. I expected more, you know? If I'm paying $2,000 for a MacBook, I expect the keyboard to last. But apparently, Apple engineers have different plans. And I was expecting one thing about performance, but got another. Apple has said that this M2 Pro chip is up to 20% more powerful than the M1 Pro chip in the CPU department and up to 30% in GPU department. But my initial testing and actually using this Mac for half a year proved that this is not simply true. I will let the test footage roll while I talk, okay? So, the M2 Pro, it's supposed to be much more powerful with its higher number of CPU and GPU cores, while being just as energy effective as the predecessor. And in synthetic benchmarks, this proves to be true. It does score higher a bit, but when it comes to real-world performance, I expected more. In many use cases, this Mac is just as fast as the M1 Pro MacBook Pro from 2021, or even slower. I compared this bent M2 Pro chip with 512GB SSD to an unbent M1 Pro chip and 1TB of SSD. In relatively simple tasks like simple video editing and photo exports, these two Macs usually perform identically. And in really intense tasks, the M2 Pro sometimes even loses to the M1 Pro. To you, it may seem counterintuitive, but there is a simple reason why this is happening. The SSD speeds. The SSDs on these new Macs are simply slower than on the old ones. This is one more way for Apple to cut costs. And with a slower SSD comes worse performance in everything that requires memory access. I can't say that this performance drop has caused any problems in my workflow because in my case, those are only a couple seconds of difference, but emotionally, knowing that your new MacBook is slower than the old one you used to have, I do all the same stuff with this Mac: video editing, photo editing, exporting files, working with raw camera footage, 3D modeling and stuff. This Mac is a powerhouse. Not a powerhouse I was hoping to get, but still a powerhouse. I can imagine that for most people buying MacBooks, this Mac will be an overkill. It's simply too much power for a normal person. A normal person. Who's that? I guess that's everyone who's not a creative professional, an engineer, or someone who's fine with waiting a little bit more for tasks to be completed. Will this normal person be satisfied with this Mac? Well, absolutely. Will it be too much? Hell yes. So is the M2 Pro MacBook Pro worth buying? The fact that for all the length of the video until now, I wasn't saying anything expressive about this Mac only proves that the thoughts I had at the beginning were valid. It's a very boring refresh. Half a year has passed, but I still can't figure out why anyone should replace their 2021 MacBook Pro with this one, or buy the new one instead of the old one, especially when the 2021 model can be bought for a little over $1,500. Wait, how much is the M2 Pro model again? Oh, $1,700 refurbished. Maybe it's not a terrible purchase at that price point. Well, let's put it this way. If you can buy the 2023 MacBook Pro for $1,700, do it. But if not, try getting the 2021 model. They're almost all the time on sale, so your wallet will say thanks. And thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.